Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. Today we're going to talk about Sprott Physical Uranium Trust. Do our uranium daily technical analysis. I looked at the chart and said Sprott Uranium Trust, but we're going to do our daily technical analysis update of uranium. We are going to look at all the uranium companies, well, all the ones that I've got on my list. Looks like they were selling off today. We'll see what's going on. Maybe we have a little bit of a pullback ahead of us before moving higher, but I'll give you my financial opinion. Please don't use it as advice. Here we go. Again, this is still one of my favorite sectors, just because it's getting a little bit of, we could have a pullback here, guys. You can see this little red candlestick. It's a bearish engulfing. It opened up and then closed lower. We may come back a little bit before moving higher. We might have a little bit of a short-term pullback in front of us, and we'll see what that looks like. But that is a bearish engulfing here. Uranium. This one has no pattern to reverse, so it's a normal down day. We do have a stronger closing on it, which means we could pull back a little bit further. We do have some support through this guy here. So kind of right underneath it. There's some support underneath it. So we'll see if we can come back, maybe hit this line and do a touch and go. Bannerman, yeah, small down day. Nice little wick at the bottom. We still are broken out of this pattern. We have a bullish engulfing right next to it. Little hammer pattern. You know, I would still, if we pull back and do a retest, then we pull back, get a retest, and that's where I would be buying more shares. If that happens. I'm not saying it will, but it could. Goviax. Goviax, this is your pattern here. We came on, we did a retest here. We're coming back up, getting just a little bit of a small, down day today. We're just cycling up and down. Maybe we come up, maybe we don't. But if down here, I would be a buyer. That's the 28-cent level. So that's where I would be getting interested if we pull back that far. Global Atomic, we've got the line going across. It does have some resistance. We're coming up, getting a little bit of a sell-off. It's not really a big down day. It didn't close super strong. So we'll see if we hang out here for a little bit longer. Thesis getting a little bit of a sell-off. Gap down, sold off a little bit more. We are at some resistance up here. I'll draw it back this way. The resistance line goes like that. Got a lot of kind of hits around this line. Underneath, below, all over the place. We're bouncing sideways. Pure Point Uranium. I've got the upward arrow. We have a bearish engulfing right here of the day before that. This is a bullish engulfing. We're battling back and forth between the buyers and the sellers. There are sellers at some of these spots. You get to these sticky spots in some of these companies, they do not want to go up. We got sellers there. Deep yellow. Still, man, that's a long wick. I'm just trying to absorb these wicks here. They go down, but they get bought up by the buyers, and they're just hanging out. I don't really have too much to say about this pattern here, because usually you see them, usually there's wicks on the top. These are usually found at the bottom here with that much buying, like these here. Usually you see them at the bottom. Kind of rare to see them just hanging out in the middle of nowhere, two of them next to each other. There's one here, kind of went sideways, but it still looks okay to me. Buyers are going in there, they're buying it back up. Paladin's getting a little bit of a rejection at this support line, or resistance line, I should say. Yeah, we're probably just going to come back and attack it again eventually. Sky Harbor, sell-off day, but we're getting to support. Support's at the bottom of this down here, so we might sell off a little bit. Alaska, just a flat day. It gapped up a little bit, was basically flat. Tried to run, but there's some sellers up there. Again, we're still above this breakout area, that downtrend line for support. So it still looks good. Next Gen Energy, just tracking higher, small down day versus these large up days. Everything's intact. Just waiting to keep the trading days going. Baseload, small down day today. Still above the breakout line. I still like it. Fission 3.0, small little down day. Again, guys, it's just normal trading, no reversal candlestick or anything. Fission, Uranium Corporation, it's a small down day, but it was up. The momentum was coming up throughout the day. Looking at Camco, we're right at resistance. So we kind of just came on up, hitting our head on some resistance. We'll probably break through it eventually. Kazatomprom getting bought up, getting above its support line. Peninsula Energy, again, it looks good. We're above the breakout line. We are above the long-term breakout line too. That's this guy here. There's the logarithmic to show you. This looks absolutely fantastic. There's nothing really to say here except for hold on and enjoy the ride. Kind of like a airline specialist. Sit back and enjoy the ride. Make sure everything's in stowage. I hate that word, stowage. Well, anyway, Boss Energy, we're back up at this resistance line. We got to break through it. It's going to take some time. Going to take some energy, I should say. Consolidated Uranium, again, we're at this resistance line as well. Getting a little bit of a sell-off today. But it's still looking okay. We'll see if it pulls back more next trading session. This is Lotus Resources. It's moving on up. Again, we're getting to all-time high land over here. We'll see if we can break it. Looking at me, Roy. I mean you, Roy. Small little down days, guys. I still think we are going to go higher with the way that this pattern looks. It looks good. If the overall sector pulls back, it's going to drag everything down. So even though you have these decent-looking little down days here, where we could potentially go up, it depends what the overall sector does. I know Sprott Physical Uranium Trust looked a little bearish to me. It looks like it might have a couple day pullback or something. Encore Energy, a little bit of a down day, finishing a little bit lower. Nothing really too exciting. We still have this big bullish engulfing. I like the way that looks. So we might do kind of like this type of movement as we go. Something on the lines of that. You got what I need. It's just a regular down day. Nothing really much to say there. We launched from this bullish engulfing, moving on up. Just a small down day. And a regular down day in UR Energy. It's a dark cloud cover, so maybe we got our down day today. We'll see what happens next trading session. We have had a rampant run up before this, but it looks like we're in mid stride of something larger to go up. UEC, it's coming up kind of on this resistance line. That's what all this. I tried tying it into as best I could with all these little points, and I think eventually we'll break through it. It's just a down day. LEU getting a little bit more of a sell-off day today on some volume. I don't know if that was from earnings release or something. We may head lower with LEU, and this is one I bought in the donations portfolio, and I'm not going to do anything with it. I'm just going to hold on. LTBR, small little down day, kind of a bearish engulfing. Maybe we might head sideways a little bit lower before moving on up. This has been a monster move, guys. If you look, we were in the upper fives and we moved all the way to 1240. That's a monster move. So we're trying to digest the gains. I think in the entire sector we are. I mean, even this 250 to 430 is a monster gain real quick. Nice, good pop higher. We have a normal down day today. So it's just trying to digest gains, I think. That's what I call it. And Appia Energy is getting the bloody nose. I like Appia Energy here. Looks good. Denison Mines. Big bullish engulfing here to start this thing. Just a normal down day. We may pull back to this line if it can get there. I would be a buyer down there. Blue Sky Uranium. Just chop. Oh, this one actually is not looking too bad. It opened down but ended up throughout the day. That's Blue Sky. Forum Energy Metals just chopping sideways on that guy there on top of a support line. So again, guys, I think this looks fine. We might even come back a little bit before heading higher. I wouldn't be afraid. This chart looks absolutely amazing. We broke out, we did a retest, and then we're just going to work our way higher, I think. AEC is going higher. This thing looks like it's ready to break at some point here. I like it down here. I'd be a buyer myself anywhere down here. Anfield itself was up 5%. Laramide down a little bit. Just a normal down day. I still think it looks great on the long term. Sometimes they get stuck here for a little bit, and then they eventually break higher. Western Uranium and Vanadium Corp. Again, we're still below this. We'll call it a resistance line. We're right there. We bounced our head off of it, basically, and we might pull back a little bit and rest underneath it. UEXCF, small down day with upward momentum. Again, this chart is a bottoming pattern chart. Comes down, does the double booty bottom, comes back up. It sits for a little while, and then we go up. So everything's looking okay from a long-term perspective there. Mega uranium's it's got the same pattern. It's just caught up in some resistance over here, trying to break above, this area here. Standard uranium, small little down day today. Not much to really say there. ALXCF, again, we are below the line here. We're just getting a little bit of an up day. We still got to break through this thing. That's our resistance goal. Asian court is still basically squeezing up, and it's in its dead period where the traders are just going to trade sideways for a little while, and then boom, it'll break. But overall, guys, the sector doesn't look bad. It's just, we have a down day. It's going to happen, and I almost feel like I don't want to come out here because I'm really bullish on this stuff, guys. The short term is the hardest part to get, and if you know the fundamentals of this, it's like we're walking into an energy shortage. It's coming, whether it's fourth quarter of this year, first quarter of next year, or the summer even. It's out there. This thing is just squeezing up. We've broken out of some of these patterns. They're oscillating and very volatile. What I'm doing is I'm actually doing nothing. You can see you'll see when I do the donations portfolio and share that I didn't do anything. I'm not selling. I would only be buying and accumulating shares. We're at the beginning of this commodity bull market. So irrespective of what the short-term charts read, and here's another thing I want to make sure that you guys understand. Irrespective if I am right or wrong on the short-term call, the medium-term and long-term are intact for a move higher. The fundamentals justify it. So even if I were to completely blow a call, okay, it's not on uranium. It's not that this is a bad investment. It would be me on blowing the call or the market just having news where you didn't necessarily statistically blow the call, but your short-term price movement goes against you. And I'm not saying that it necessarily went against me on this particularly short-term. I'm just saying in general that the short-term is the hardest to predict, and that the purpose of these videos is to see if, well, at least for me, is to see if there's any good buying opportunities and to cost average in. No one's going to get this 100% right. Very good chart readers, maybe 60, 70% of the time get it right. That is your probability. That means that 30 to 40% of the time that people are reading these things, that they're going to have to come on, if they're doing a YouTube channel, and say, you know what, we haven't gone up yet, or we've got it wrong, or whatever. The big long-term picture. So if I were to look at this and I were to say, the big long-term picture is what drives fundamentals. This right here, this pattern where you've got higher lows, that's what this increasing line is, and you're at a resistance line. This is fundamentally driven. This more than likely will blow to the upside. Now, if someone blows a call, like maybe they thought they were going to break right here, maybe they thought, and maybe it pulled back, and everybody's like, no, the bull market's not going to happen. It's totally off. And then you hit your head on it again. And then you're coiling up here before a massive move. The point is, you had to wait. If I know some people, you'd have to wait an entire maybe year or year and a half before this happens. But the move is going to be so big that there's not going to be anything else in the market that's going to compare to this. So is the year or year and a half worth wait? Some people say, well, that's an opportunity lost, And what I would say is the move is so big, it doesn't matter. You're going to kill everything anyway. So the way that I view these things is I find the most undervalued commodity companies and sectors, ones where the money flows are going to come into. Uranium's always been lagged. The thing is, it's so volatile, so fast, that if you're not in it, it can just run away so quickly. So you kind of have to sit in it. And it's not really an opportunity loss because even if you're in it for a year or two and then it goes, the move is so big it won't matter. I mean, it'll be hundreds of percent moves. Maybe even thousands of percent moves, maybe. Depends how big the squeeze is, depends on how this all unfolds. I think we're getting pretty close, and we just have a normal down day today. That's what I think. But we'll see. We'll see what happens next week. Each week, it's really fun. I like doing these videos. I like coming in front of you guys and talking. Hopefully you guys enjoy listening to it. Give me a thumbs up for the content. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and thank you for listening. This is Finding Value.